Okay, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the new Kendrick Lamar Sza video of Luther. Now, I remember when I reviewed GNX, I was like, I wonder why he used the Luther sample, but watching the video, it made me think he have a connection to the song, the original song, If This World Was Mine. Either maybe that's him and his girl song, or maybe he just have a memory of love with that song, or maybe it's just one of them songs that just make you feel and think about love. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got their song that makes them feel love strongly. Maybe that's his song, or they song, both of him and his girl song. So when I watched the video, it just made me think about that. It was like, why did he choose Luther? And then it tied together for me for some reason. Okay, so the overall video, the aesthetic was black and white, which is good. And I watched the video twice, so I'm sure the stuff I missed, didn't miss, whatever. But this is my interpretation of the video from me watching. I feel like, obviously it was black and white, and I feel like usually when it's two people that are in love, people always think about yin and yang. So it made me think about yin and yang, especially when he was sitting on one side in a circle and she was sitting on one side in a circle when they was like on them couches where the elevators were. It made me think about yin and yang. Then, they kept showing the parallels. SZA was sitting on one couch, he was sitting on one couch. And honestly, when he was sitting on the couch is when he looked sad when he was without his girl. He looked sad when he was next to SZA. And if this ain't what it meant, this is what I got from it. I feel like when SZA was walking to the hotel room, I was like, is she a prostitute? And then I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe her man just at the hotel and she on, but it just gave prostitute for some reason. And then when Kendrick was in the car and SZA was like, she was smoking outside, it made it seem like he was picking up a prostitute on the corner or something. I'm pretty sure it was insinuating like he was cheating, and he messed up his relationship. He messed up his relationship, and when he was without his girl, he was sad and depressed and didn't feel whole. Because even when they was on the elevator, they was both separate. He was sitting in a circle by himself, and she was going down the elevator. But when they was together, they were going up. They was both down when they went together. Then when they together, they up better together than we are apart. And although she was probably hurting too, she looked over him and he looked so sad, and she still looked concerned. Like he looked away like, dang, I feel bad. Like I done did something bad, or I lost you, whatever. I feel bad. She's still worried about him, looking at him, trying to see if he okay. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but I'm saying this is my interpretation of the video. Now, obviously, they kept pausing the song. Then I feel like how they did the font when they said Luther with SZA. I feel like that font was like an old school type of feel. Yeah, the parts with him, it felt like he was happy. Then the parts without her, he wasn't happy. And then, obviously he actually played a little part of the actual sample. If This Were Mine, Luther, he played a little sample of that, and that's when they was together, sitting at the table, holding hands or whatever. Or touching hands is like, this is what true love is. This is what makes me the happiest when I'm with you. I'm the happiest. This is the ending. We always gonna end in love. We always gonna be together. Nothing's gonna keep us apart. When they both were sitting in the room, obviously when he touched her stomach, maybe I was pregnant, and we already know he got 2 kids, so that tied together. But when they was watching the screen, I don't know, projector or mirror, I don't know what that was supposed to be, but it was the GNX card and it was covered in red. Obviously, red. When you think of red, you think of love, whatever. The car was covered up and he had the gun and he was firing the gun. Fire. He was firing the gun. It made it seem like I'd do anything to protect you and our love and us. And that's the whole thing with that. Like, if somebody coming at you or for you, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to protect us. I'm going to protect our love. I always got your back, whatever. So that's what it made me think. I was like, why he shooting at the gun? Then the car was covered up in red. And SZA was standing outside and he pulled up in the car. And he was on the phone. Like, he probably was on the phone talking to his girl. She came down the elevator and she looked at him. And they locked eyes or whatever. And then it probably went back to a memory of her thinking about him cheating on her with, people or whatever. When they locked eyes, it made it seem like he jumped to a memory. That's what it felt like. Like he jumped to a memory, and the memory was him. She thought about it, and he thought about it. Both of them thought about what he done did wrong to her. And he looked like he felt bad about it, He he locked eyes, then went away, and then they looked at it again, and then both of them thought about the memory. But first, you know, at the beginning of the day was going up, everything was good, and then she went down by herself, they locked eyes, and then when they got together, they was still going down. But it's like he his best version when he with her, because when he wasn't with her, he was playing crap. He was just shooting. I don't know if that something him shooting. Yeah, that symbolized something else. When she wasn't in the room, he was just shooting freely instead of like aiming at a target. And then obviously when she was laying down, it made it seem like she was pregnant, how they was on her stomach, whatever. But yeah, when she wasn't around, when they went together, he was down and out, child, gambling. When he was shooting the dice. I don't know if that's what it is, but this is what my interpretation is, what I think it is. Okay, y'all know how I said SZA, she was in red for that little point of time. Maybe that's when they had broken, like symbolized them when they broken up. She wasn't in the yin and yang. She wasn't in her divine, you know, balance. Well, he wasn't in his divine balance. So that's when SZA, you know, had the red. She with the red hair. That scene, it was full of color, but not really color. Color in this sense don't symbolize happiness and vibrancy. It symbolized not being in your yin and yang. So, and then towards the end, when they seemed like they were back together, she was black and white again. Like, it's like I'm back to where I want to be and where I should be and where peace is and love is. I would say I'm being dramatic, but yeah. And one last thing, towards the end, SZA sitting by herself. Maybe it's like you got one end with Kendrick experiencing love, like true love. And then SZA, maybe she thinks love, maybe she don't, but she ain't really experiencing, like her side of the character ain't really experiencing love. They just, you know, maybe being with different men or doing this and that or whatever. You just want to feel a little bit of love. Like, it makes you feel love for that moment, but then as soon as you not in it, you don't feel love no more. Like her sitting by herself, then at the end when the actual sample played, her and the dude hugging her, like I just doing anything to get a little glimpse of love or feel a little happiness, you know, even though it's not really that. If something's black and white, you notice when you see something red. So, you know, SZA had the red hair. That's what it made you say something off. Like, wow. Look, even when she was standing outside smoking and Kendrick was in the car, and he still looked sad. Like, he was sad there. Like I said, anytime he wasn't with her, he was sad. And when he was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing, he looked sad. So, yeah, that pop of red just stood out.
Him coming clean for his past discretions and saying he's done with it.
Overall, I like the video. I love a good story. Like, that's what I like, a good little story in a video. I love a little story time. I feel like when him and PG Lane do like actual movies, it's gonna be really good. It's just like Issa Rae. Issa Rae, when you watch her stuff, she pay attention to details and stuff, you know, that's in the background and stuff. Like minor details, like from posters on the wall and stuff like that to minor details. She really pay attention. So I like people like that it look aesthetically pleasing. So I had nothing to do with nothing, but I didn't talk about the Drake video, but because it wasn't really nothing to talk about. But I feel like that's what I usually, this is what I wanted from Drake, a story time. Like maybe him being in, but people would have probably, whatever he do, they gonna try to say something about it anyway. So he could have just did it anyway. But like him being in like maybe college or something, like him being like doing a scene with him in college and him having different girls, you know, them calling his phone or something. It didn't have to be that, but I'm saying I wanted some type of story time because I feel like usually when he do his videos, he be in his acting bag, but for this, he wasn't really doing nothing but standing, and it wasn't no story time. It was just him standing. Like it looked good, but it was like, I don't know. But like with this and Kendrick, with this black and white, it went with the story. Luther loved black and white, yin and yang, it went together. But with Nokia, it was like you wanted this to be more vibrant and more old school type or throwback type, and it didn't get at, which is okay, I guess, whatever. But you know, like I said, usually what I like about Drake videos, he usually be in his acting bag, and he usually be doing like different characters or little singing. What's that song, that the Drake song that everybody used to dance to? not Tootsie Slide. Oh, Kiki, Do You Love Me? I don't know the name of that song, but Kiki, Do You Love Me? I feel like that's the video where it was Claire from the Cosby Show. She was in there being a mama. Then Lala, he wanted to go out with her. He was supposed to be like this hood dude, and he wanted to take her out or whatever. That was cute. Like, I thought it was gonna be something like that, like a little acting vibe. But anywho, that's all I got on the video. I liked it. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it twice. That's what my interpretation of watching it. But okay, bye.